Hello boys and girls, welcome to the second episode of The Sports Bag. Let's just keep this intro nice and short and sweet, my new setting with my new background. So let's go. It's actually happened, guys. Somebody other than Lionel Messi has scored a World Cup qualifying goal for Argentina. So let's take a look at it now. Here it is. What an absolute shambles at the back this is. Credit to Martinez though for following it in, scoring that tackle goal. I'm sure he's happy with it. They all count at the end of the day. 4 years ago was the last time someone other than Lionel Messi scored for Argentina, with Prato and Di Maria netting in a 3-0 win against Colombia. And sticking in South America quickly, Neymar's hat-trick in the 4-2 win against Peru has taken him above the original Ronaldo, Fat Ronaldo, whatever you want to call him, to take him to second in the all-time Brazil international goal scorers. He's only 13 behind Pelé now, and he's got a lot of years left, so no doubt he's going to absolutely eclipse Pelé's record, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and records are there to be broken, so I'm looking forward to seeing what age he is once he gets to the top spot. So at the start of this week we had the fourth round of games from the Nations League, which started on Tuesday and also played over Wednesday. So let's take a look at the Tuesday games. Spain went to the Ukraine and got stunned by a late Tsunkov goal with 15 minutes to go. It's the first goal the Ukraine has scored against Spain in 17 years, with the last goal coming from, you named it, the head coach, Andrei Shevchenko. With this game being played also, it means Sergio Ramos is now 10 appearances away from breaking the all-time appearance record in international football. He's sitting on 175, while the leader is Ahmed Hassan with 184. In the second A4 group game on Tuesday, we saw Germany draw 3-3 for the second time this week, this time against Switzerland, where Switzerland took an early lead and made it 2-0, and then Germany fighting back to make it 2-2, to then go 3-2 down, and then for Gnabry to come and score the equaliser in the 60th minute. Obviously both Chelsea boys scoring, so Lampard will be happy with that, and hopefully they can bring that international form into the Premier League. So the last team I want to mention on this page is San Marino. It's been 36 games since their last points in 2014 with a 1-1 draw against Estonia. This is their first clean sheet away from home in their 30-year history, and their most recent competitive away point was 2001 when they drew 1-1 in Latvia. So moving on to Wednesday's games now, and where else can I start but Harry Maguire's sending off in England's 1-0 loss to Denmark. What was he doing making them challenges up there in the middle of the park as a centre-back where he doesn't need to be making them? Just he's not in the right place at the moment, is he? So he needs to take a break 100% and just find out where his head is. So obviously going down to 10 men was going to be a lot tougher for England, and then conceding that soft penalty with Delaney tussling with Walker, which never a penalty really, was it? Let's be honest. But we did fight back a little bit with Kasper Schmeichel making an incredible reflex save to deny Mason Mount's header, and also Harry Kane crossing it back stick for Conor Cody to head past Kasper Schmeichel, only for Kajar to be there on the line ready to header it away again. And to add to England's woes, Reece James got sent off after the final whistle for confronting the referee about his performance. So with these sending offs, England have had the same amount of red cards in the previous 5 games as they did to the previous 101 prior to these, which is just not good enough really. So is it in Southgate we trust or Southgate we rust? With all these incredible attacking players we've got in the team, and we're still playing 5 at the back, which includes Harry Maguire, which he's just not good enough for the England team. Kyle Walker, he's not good enough either. I just think he gets a pass for playing for Man City. And also Jordan Pickford, he hasn't been good enough for a long time. So England fans, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Best players we should be playing, the best team, formation, tactics. Write it all down there so we can all have a little discussion about it. Moving away from the horror show that's England, in the other A2 group game, Belgium went to Iceland and won 2-1, where Lukaku scored his 54th and 55th international goals for Belgium. brace from Lewandowski helped see Poland past 10-man Bosnia-Herzegovina. Also in that group, Barella cut the defence open with a pinpoint pass to Pellegrini to tuck away in the first half, only for Depay's turn and shot to be blocked by Donny van der Beek, which then falls kindly for him to slot home, with Cillessen making a lot of good saves and Donnarumma making an absolutely incredible save towards the end of the match. From the resulting corner from Donnarumma's save, Immobile went through one-on-one after dispossessing Hatzabor, only for Cillessen to make another save. In Portugal's group, we saw them see off Sweden 3-0 without Cristiano Ronaldo after he contracted coronavirus during his period away from Juve. Having no Ronaldo was no problem for Portugal, with Diogo Jota coming in to make the difference between the sides. He got the assist for the first goal, where he slid it across the box to an unmarked Bernardo Silva to slot home to make it 1-0. Then the second goal was by Jota after a tidy finish on the 6-yard box from a cross whipped in from the right-hand side. Then Jota scored his brace after running down the left wing and cutting in on the 6-yard box to then fire home. Lastly on this page, Northern Ireland lose 1-0 away to Norway after Stuart Dallas' own goal, where the ball bounces off his shoulder past a helpless Trevor Carson, who stepped in to replace Burnley's Bailey Peacock-Farrell, who was injured during the warm-up. It's a shame for Trevor Carson, seeing as he made a string of fine saves which would prevail not to be enough for the Northern Ireland team. And here we see Scotland winning 1-0 against the Czech Republic to extend their unbeaten run to 8, which is their best run in 32 years. The gritty goal came from Scotland pressing high up the pitch, with Dykes riding tackles for Fraser to burst into the box to fire home. Czech Republic missed a host of chances, including West Ham Souček firing over the bar from in front of an open goal. Also, Wales going to Bulgaria and scoring late sees them go top of their table. And here's the final page of results. So let's take a look at the group so far, with 4 played and 2 to go. I really enjoy the Nations League. I love international football as it is, but this gives opportunities to smaller nations to play each other, get some results, and not just get absolutely annihilated every single game. And we get to see the big teams play each other more regularly, other than, say, England, San Marino, or Germany, Liechtenstein. This is also another great opportunity for the smaller nations to find a way into the Euros, with playoff spots being introduced for the lower nations to find their way in. Let's take a look at the Premier League results now, starting with that controversial 2-2 draw in the Merseyside derby. 2 awful VAR decisions there, costing Liverpool the win, essentially, especially with the end for Mane's offside before the Hendo goal, which was dreadful. It's just not offside. How can your elbow be offside? And also Pickford tearing Virgil van Dijk's ACL in that awful challenge. Van Dijk now set to miss the next 7 to 8 months recovering from his ACL injury, which is a massive blow for Liverpool. Thiago escaped any major injury with just swelling around the knee after that horrific Richarlison tackle, which saw him get red carded in the last minutes of the game. A Werner double wasn't enough to see Chelsea pass Southampton this weekend at the Bridge. A mistake from Kepa saw a 2-goal lead slip away from Chelsea as they quickly retained the lead with a Havertz tap-in, only for Vestergaard to nod in Theo Walcott's cross shot in the 92nd minute. Man United conceding early to a Luke Shaw own goal had us all thinking, oh my god, here they go again, Man United just falling to pieces. But to be fair, Harry Maguire making redemption of himself, scoring a header halfway through the first half, and then Manchester United just being too much for Newcastle in the last 10 minutes, scoring 3 goals in quick succession, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka scoring his first goal on his 50th appearance for the club. We saw Man City scrape past Arsenal 1-0 after a burnt Leno save fell kindly for Sterling to tap in. Sergio Aguero made his first appearance of the season since his knee surgery, but he wasn't without controversy as well, putting his hands patronisingly on Sian Massey, disagreeing with the decision she gave. Obviously, you should never put your hands on an official, but there's a big uproar about Sian Massey being female. Does that change anything in this perspective, or is it just hands on an official? Let me know, guys. Then on to the second day of Premier League games. arguably the most exciting game of the weekend, Tottenham West Ham. Kane and Son combining again early on to lead. Kane then doubling the lead with a cheeky nutmeg on Rice and firing past Fabianski from range. Tottenham were just dominating the first quarter of the game, making it 3-0 in the first 15 minutes. Gareth Bale coming on as a sub was a good sign, with Spurs in full control. Harry Kane going for his hat-trick, hitting the post late on as well. Then West Ham's Balbuena scoring a towering header at the back post. Most people were thinking this is just a consolation goal for West Ham. Then a Sanchez own goal with 5 minutes left sparked some hope for the comeback for West Ham, and that they did when Lanzini came on and scored an absolute screamer with seconds left in the game to go. Aston Villa going to Vardy's Leicester, getting another shock result with a Ross Barkley screamer again, second time this weekend, in the 91st minute. They're the only team left with a 100% win ratio and also have 3 clean sheets in their last 4 games. So is this Villa's year? Are they going to do a Leicester City of old? And also we see Sheffield United draw with Fulham and Crystal Palace draw with Brighton. On to rugby now, and with 2 European finals being played this weekend, we saw the Exeter Chiefs overcome Racing 92. This is a proper rags to riches story for Exeter, being in the Championship 10 years ago, and now becoming European champions is just mad. And they can do the double this weekend by winning the Premiership final against Wasps. But with this European trophy, are Exeter looking to build a dynasty like previous winners before them? Leicester winning it 3 times in 4 seasons from 2009, Toulon winning it 3 times in a row from 2013, and Saracens winning 3 of the past 4 titles, although this is being questioned now due to the salary cap scandal. Sam Simmonds was named European Player of the Year shortly after the game with his 8 tries in the competition. He's the older brother of Exeter captain Joe. We also saw another rags to riches result with Bristol Bears defeating European royalty Toulon in the Challenge Cup final. Bristol Bears only recently got promoted back into the Premiership in 2018, so this is also another incredible result for English rugby. This is their first European trophy and their first major honour since 1983. Bristol were trailing 16-10 at half-time, but with Sheedy kicking late points gave Bristol a comfortable win in the end. This win comes 6 days after a 42-22 loss to Wasps in the Premiership semi-final. And last of all for the Rugby Union, we saw New Zealand defeat Australia 27-24 after drawing last week. 3 quick tries after the second half showing New Zealand's dominance. This is 44 tests unbeaten at Eden Park since 1994. And now for the Rugby League Challenge Cup final, which saw Leeds defeat Salford 17-16, where Luke Gale kicks a late drop goal, tied at 16-16 to win Leeds their first Challenge Cup in 5 years. This was Salford's first Wembley final since 1969, Leeds' 6th final in 11 years, 14th Challenge Cup, and now they are 5 behind leaders Wigan, who are on 19. MotoGP now, as we saw our 8th different winner of the season, things are really hotting up going into the final 4 races. The Grand Prix of Aragon saw the top 4 dominated by Spanish riders, with Alex Rins holding on in a nerve-jangling last lap to finish ahead of Alex Marquez and John Mir. Fabio Quartararo finishing 18th sees his title charge taking a massive hit. With 15 points separating the top 4, is MotoGP now the most exciting sport on the planet? Or is it because the dominant 8-time world champion Marc Marquez hasn't been involved since his injury in the first race of the season? Hopefully I'm going to be giving you a better insight into the MotoGP final 4 races in the coming weeks with some of my experts. Right, so lastly, I'm going to leave you with the NASCAR news. Before you turn off and go, this is rubbish, let me introduce you to NASCAR and explain what's going on right now in the playoffs. So we are currently at the beginning of round 3 of the playoffs, with the last 8 drivers fighting for a place in the final 4 shootout for the championship. These drivers have been whittled down from the last 16 to the last 12, now to the last 8. But how does someone get into the playoffs? During the regular season, winning a race guarantees you a spot, but if we don't have enough regular season winners, it's down to the highest scoring drivers therefore after. But throughout the season they're also earning playoff points. They're earned by winning stages of a race. Stage 1 usually the first 25%, Stage 2 the next 25%, and stage 3, the race win itself. Still with me? Winning stage 1 or 2 gets you an additional playoff point, with winning the race gets you an additional 5. These are carried on through the playoffs until round 4, which is a winner-takes-all outcome. Playoff points are also awarded at the end of the regular season, with 15 awarded to the champion, 8 to second, 7 to third, all the way down to 1 for 10th. Each playoff round has a cut-off of the bottom 4 drivers who haven't accumulated enough points. Each round points are reset, but playoff points are carried over. Confusing, right? The idea is so the most consistent throughout the year should be named a NASCAR champion at the end of the season. Even though throughout the playoffs we have all 40 drivers running, they're not competing for anything other than sponsors, a fat paycheck for winning, or doing sicko donuts with the playoff champion.